The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I had a relative who was very, very sick, young, and the doctor said, that's it, person is going to die. They tell me in the hospital there's one type of surgery to do just to make the person comfortable for their last days. However, it's a risk. The person is so weak that the person may die under the knife. I didn't know what to do. I got on a plane at the time. I flew to Eretz Yisrael. I went straight to the Steipler's house. Now, he was known to tell people in such situations not to do anything. I went into him, and I had to write everything down. He was hard of hearing. He read everything. And he tells me in Hebrew, Telech labayis taseh nituach. Go home and do the surgery right away. So I looked at him, and I started screaming in his ear. But they said the person could die on the table. He started yelling at me. Ani mevin, I understand. Go home and do the surgery. Rav Baruch Sorotsky nasani tuach v'chai esrim shana. Baruch Sorotsky did it and he lived 20 years. What's it got to do with Rav Baruch Sorotsky? Okay, I went home and I pushed everybody. I pushed the family. Let's do the surgery. Did the surgery. It was supposed to take 45 minutes. The surgery took 8 hours. We thought the person died. They don't want to tell us. 8 hours. The surgeon comes out and he says, cured. Cured? What happened to all that cancer? No, it was a benign tumor in the duodenum. It grew and grew till it's the size of a grapefruit. I managed to take 7 bypasses and take it out. The person should be fine. How long did that person live? 20 years. Kim'at to the day. 20 years, Rabbi say. They see what we don't see. They have a certain siyata d'shmaya. It's a famous Maisa with Rav Yaakov Kanievsky that he started putting on. All of a sudden, he comes to shul one day and he's putting on tefillin, Rabbeinu Tam. Old man. He never wore Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. Everybody in the shul was wondering what's going on. So they asked him. Few people went out and said, Rabbi, what's going on? You never wore Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. What is this? He says, I'll tell you. He says, some 50 years ago in Europe, somebody came over to me and asked me why I don't wear Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. And he told me, I told him why, but he said, but the Chafetz Chaim wears Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. So I told him the Chafetz Chaim is 90. When I'll be 90, I'll also wear. Today is my 90th birthday. And I never forgot what I said. A neder came out of my mouth. How many times did you say Hatarat Nedarim in the last 50 years? No. A neder came out of my mouth. I said, when I'll be 90, I'll wear Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. Today's my 90th birthday. I never forgot it. So today I wear Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. Can you imagine? How about that? They're on a different league, a different plateau. I heard from Rav Feinstein about Rav Moshe Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Livracha. He told me that he says, my father needed a pacemaker. Maybe when he was in his 80s, early 80s. He needed a pacemaker. And he entered the hospital the night before to do it the next morning. And I came early the next morning before the procedure. Saw my father, Rav Moshe. I asked him how he slept, and he says he really didn't sleep last night. Why? He was being yefashfesh b'ma'asav. He was trying to figure out, why is he getting this pacemaker? What avera did he do that he deserves to get a pacemaker? So he tells his son, my dear son, I went through all the mitzvot aseh. I was never over on one. I went through all the lo ta'aseh. Don't ever remember being over. I went through all the karet and all the mitot bedin and all the derabbanans that I can remember. I don't ever remember being over on anything. And it bothered me. So why is this happening to me? He didn't even enter his mind that it was Yisurin Shel Ahava. No. He says, there has to be a reason. He says, I finally got it. I figured it out. So what is it? He says, when I was a young man in yeshiva, I learning my chavrusa back in Europe, in Luban, and we had a very big argument on a sugya. For a week, we argued the same point. And it came out at the end that he was moided to me that I was right. And you know what? I felt good in my heart that I was right and that he was wrong. And that's why I'm being punished with my heart. Because I felt good in my heart. Rabbi say, some probably 50, 60 years before. Okay? But forget about that. I was never over. I went through I went through all the derabanans and all the deraises and all the asers and all the lot asers and all the karet and all the mitabedin. I couldn't find anything. I had to find this. We're talking about people who are way, 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 way ahead of us. Again, from the Kedusha, they have a Siyata Dishmaya like we never had before, Rabotai. Nothing to talk about. Nothing to talk about. I'll tell you a Maisa. Happened to me with Rav Shach. I was in Eretz Yisrael and I saw a Bacha who I knew, and he asked me if I'm going to Bnei Brak. I said, I happen to be, I am. He says, are you going to Rav Shach? I said, yes. Can I come? I said, come. He was a little bit older. He wasn't married. And he wanted a bracha to get married. We went into Rav Shach. So Rav Shach was talking to me, and then he asked me, who's this fellow? So I told him he came from America. He wants a bracha to get married. Shach says, how old is he? I said, 24. He says, 24? Lama hulo nasui. Why is he not married? I said, Bush is panim. He's very shy. It's very difficult for him to go out on a date. So Rav Shach says, Bush is panim le Gan Eden. Aval tzarich lischaten. You have to get married. Okay. So he tells the boy, you have to get married. The boy says, I want to get married. So Rav Shach says, okay, taftiach li, promise me, shetischaten hashana. Promise me you're going to get married this year. Boy never went out with a girl in his life. Can't even talk. He's very shy. He doesn't answer. The boy doesn't answer. Rav Shach says, Atat taftiach li, promise me. Rav Shach opens his Gemara and he starts learning. And then he turns to me and he says to me, Hu lo halech mipo. He's not leaving this house. Achu taftiach, until he promises. You want to go? You could go. Hu lo yelech. The fellow looks at me. He's ready to cry. So we sit there. We sit there for 5 minutes. 5 minutes felt like 5 years. Okay? Rav Shach looks up. He goes, no. I turned to the boy. I said, what do you want to do? So what can I do? I can't promise. How can I promise I'm getting married this year? It's impossible. I said, listen, the Gadol Ador tells you to do something. You have to do it. He says, I can't. How can I do it? Rav Shach asked me, what did he say? I said, Hu lo yachol. He said, okay, Hu lo halech mipo. He's not leaving. Okay, it's a Ma'aseh Shaya, Rabbi say. We're sitting there. This is going on every 5 minutes. Rav Shach looking up for the guy. No. Rav Shach goes, Ata yachol alecha. You could go. Hu lo yachol alecha. This goes on and on. The boy is crying. I said to him, listen, I got things to do. I got to go. Okay, let's go. He says, how can I promise? I said, Rav Shach. Finally, he turns to Rav Shach. He says, if you give me a bracha that I'll get married, okay. Rav Shach says, Ani eten lecha bracha, aval ta taftiach koidem. First you promise. He promised. Rav Shach gave him a bracha. We left. We went out the door. The boy was extremely depressed and crying. He says, what did I just do? I promised to the Gadol Ador an impossibility. What'd I do? He was terrible that day, depressed. We go back to Yerushalayim. At the end of the day, we go to the hotel. I see an elderly man there who I know from America. I said, what are you doing here? He says, I came to Eretz Yisrael to visit my granddaughter who was in seminary. Here she is. She's there. Okay, fine. 6 months later, these two get married. 6 months later, these two get married. I'm at the Sheva Brachas. I have a big mouth. And I told them the story. So the father of the Kala gets up and he says, that's not the end of the story. We were also by Rav Shach that week. And we told Rav Shach she has a problem. She doesn't want to go out. She's scared, this and that. Rav Shach made a promise. Okay. But then you couldn't make it up if you wanted to. It's Gedolei Israel. They're in a different league. They're way above us. We're clueless to what's going on. There was a 50th wedding anniversary in Yerushalayim. And this couple was a rarity for their time. They had everything. They had good children, good grandchildren. Nobody went off the derech. They had parnasa, they had health. And they have this 50th wedding anniversary. Okay. And at the wedding anniversary, one of the grandchildren got up and asked, Zaidi, Bobby, tell us, how'd you do it? What's the recipe for such hatzlacha? What'd you do? So the lady says, forget about that, never mind. But let me tell you a story what happened in my day. Said, Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld was the Rav Rashi of Yerushalayim. And there was a chasana, and Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld was going to be the Masada Kedushin. Before he got there was a Kabbalah's panim, and the girl was an older girl, the Kala. Took her a long time before she found somebody. And the boy says to his father, when they're sitting there, the Kabbalah's panim, I don't think I could do it. Father says, what? I don't think I could do it. What do you mean you can't do it? I don't think I can get married. I'm getting cold feet. Because we're here at the chasana. What are you talking about? I don't know. I can't do it. Took one look at the ksuv on the table. I can't. Father tries to talk to him. Nothing to talk about. The boy gets up and runs out and runs away. Oh, the place starts to buzz. The Kala doesn't know anything. She's in another room with all the ladies. The place is buzzing. All the friends are outside. talking what to do. We go get him, how, where, what. In walks Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. They run over to him. The father of the Kala is going out of his mind. He runs over to Rav Yosef Chaim and says, this is what just happened. And my daughter is going to have a nervous breakdown till she found the chassan. We're here at the chassan and she's in her wedding gown. There's no chassan. What's going to be? Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld talks to the father of the chassan. The father says, what should I do? He ran away. I wasn't expecting this. I'm in shock myself. I don't know what to do. Okay. Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld says, okay, 1 minute. He goes outside to where all the friends were. And he calls them all over and he says, listen here, come here. He says, who here wants a guaranteed chelik in Olam Haba and Olam Hazeh? I promise you everything. All you have to do is marry this girl tonight. Goes to the first boy. No, my mother will kill me. Not doing it. Goes to the next boy. No, not even a new suit for my chasana. No, went down, boy. One boy says, do you really promise me that? Yes, I promise you, you'll have everything. I'll do it. They call, Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld goes over to the father of the Kala and the chassan and says, listen, I found the chassan. What do you mean you found the chassan? New chassan, right? New chassan? Yeah, new chassan. How many dates did they go out anyway in those days? He says, what are you talking about? I found an Elicha boy. He'll marry her tonight. He'll have a chasana, everything. My daughter doesn't even know what's going on. Okay, let's tell her. They go and they tell the daughter, listen, you remember your chassan? No more. He's gone. New chassan. Ma'aseh Shaya. She goes, what? He ran away. We got a new one. Where's my chassan? No more. New chassan. A new chassan. I never even met him. Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld says, so meet him. They sat them down at a table. First date in a wedding gown. Okay. Sat them down at a table. They met. Rabbi said, they had a chasana. Back to the 50th wedding anniversary. The Zaidi says, you know that chassan and Kala was? Me and your bubby. I was the one who said I would do it. And I believed in Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld when he told me I'm going to have everything. And I have everything. I had parnasa my whole life. I have health, me and my wife, good children, good grandchildren. We had arichas yomim. We had everything. But who's the hero of this story? Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, you would think? I think the chassan. Why? Because he had emunat hachamim. He believed be'emunah shelema in the Rav and the Gadol Hador, right? What he says, he means. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I saw a video a few weeks ago. I plotched. If I didn't see it in my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. In Rav Chaim's house. A lot of things go on in Rav Chaim's house, Rabotai. I've been there many, many times, but this one takes the cake. A fellow walks in. I don't know why they videoed it. A fellow walks in, yeshiva shaman, middle age, and he goes to Rav Chaim and he says, I have a major problem in my life. I'm a fruit farmer. I keep shmita, I keep everything, and it's a very big business. 10 years ago, an Arab worker fell off of a ladder and broke his back. He really did break his back. It's permanent damage. And this worker suing me for 10 years, the case is going on. Now the insurance company said, and the lawyer said, the jig is up. He wants X amount of dollars. The judge says that you got to pay. I have to pay out of pocket besides the insurance policy, right? That it's going to put me out of business. And now the lawyer wants me to give an offer. How much am I offering towards that amount? I can't offer such money. I'll be bankrupt either way. I can't do it. Rav Chaim tells him, 10 lahem shekel. He says, what? 10 lahem shekel, lo yoter mi shekel. Give him 1 shekel, not more. He says, what does that mean? 10 lahem shekel, lo yoter mi shekel. This is a joke. Right? They're asking for hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of shekalim. Right? Give him 1 shekel. Rav Chaim takes his wallet out of his pocket. He opens it up. He's looking inside. He's digging. He pulls out 1 shekel. 10 lahem shekel. V'ulai ze yoter midai. Maybe this is too much. V'tachzir li. Aval lo yoter mi shekel. This fellow has emunas chachamim. He calls the lawyer the next morning, and he tells the lawyer, 1 shekel. The lawyer's crazy. What does that mean? Chaim said 1 shekel. Now, 2 months later, you see them videoing again. Rav Chaim and in on Motzai Shabbos. The fellow walks in. Rav Chaim's drinking tea. He tells him hot on Motzai Shabbos. Since that, he says, you remember me? I was the farmer. You told me 1 shekel. He says, yeah, makara. He says, I came back to return the shekel that you gave me. He says, what happened? He says, I called the lawyer the next day. I told them only 1 shekel. Go offer them 1 shekel, no more. The lawyer says, are you crazy? Offer them 1 shekel. Rav Chaim said 1 shekel, 1 shekel. Call them and tell them we're offering 1 shekel. When one lawyer told it to the other lawyer, and the lawyer went back and told it to the people, they said, you know what? We're fed up already. Just give us what the insurance company is going to give us. It's 10 years already, and we're done. So he comes back to Rav Chaim, and he tells Rav Chaim, here's the shekel back. So he gives it to Rav Chaim. Rav Chaim takes it. He says, Aval, ulai Rav Chaim yiten li et shekel. Maybe you'll give me the shekel. Rav Chaim says, Lama, ze sheli. Okay, so he says, because I could be mekadesh shem shamayim with it. I could go around and show people this is the shekel that I listened to Rav Chaim. I had emunas chachamim, and a nes happened to me with it. Rav Chaim looks at him, gives him the shekel. He tells him, Kach b'matana gemura. Take it from matana gemura. He gave it to him. And then he told him, wear your payas in front of your ears, not behind your ears, and put your brim up. And he sent them out. Okay? Okay. In our door, there are such people, such malachim walking around. Rabotai, Korach destroyed himself because he refused authority. We have to learn how, even in this door when nobody accepts authority, we have to learn how to accept authority. We have to get our children and our grandchildren to cling to Talmidei Hachamim. And Bezrat Hashem will be zocheh to Yirat Shamayim, like the Pelei Yoetz said, will be zocheh to Yirat Shamayim. Mashiach will come, it's Ikvased de Mashiach. Mashiach will come and he'll be proud of us. He'll be proud of us that we have such Yiras Talmidei Chachamim, such Yiras Shamayim, such Emunat Chachamim. That's how we can live a proper life. We follow the directory that the Chachamim give us, and Be'ezrat Hashem will be zocher to Geula Shelema. Amen.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org